Right. So, hello everyone that is here. I'm just going to slowly go through a little bit. If anyone wants to come in. Okay. All right. So, what's your name?
Thomas.
Thomas, and what club are you from, Thomas?
GSA.
GSA. Nice to meet you. And what club are you from?
I'm from the Business Professionals of America.
Cool. And your name?
Brett West.
And then your name?
Trina.
And what club are you from?
I'm here for Rise SAB, but I could represent Active Minds as well.
Double check.
Or maybe PTK. Or do you want a list?
Well,
Maybe Bold Point Association?
yeah, there's a couple of the clubs, so that works out as favorable. All right, and I really hope that everyone will be able to hear this because we're recording this. But all right, so this is going to be a continuation from what we were doing last couple weeks ago now, and then kind of as we move on, right, we kind of got there's so much like just feedback that it was like, hey, let's kind of open this up for a bigger thing, right? So we kind of started looking at the big pictures and icebreakers to kind of get something out there. So, current club landscape, and we had some of these questions out there. So I'll at least ask one question. I'll ask this first top one before we go on to the next section and start and continue to explore this. And you said Thomas, right?
Yes.
So what's a small big win that your club GSA has had recently?
We have gotten just a bunch of new members this semester.
That's perfect. That's a
Massively
huge.
up our attendance.
It's a huge win. That's a huge win. I like that. All right, Brett, how about you?
I'm president for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've been editing agendas and printing agendas and distributing agendas, trying to do a better job collaborating with my fellow officers to build those agendas.
So what? Maybe a big win you could say would be is
Well, we're
having
having
good team building.
great team building, coordinating with my fellow officers, and also like preparing for our membership kickoff meeting on Thursday.
Awesome. That's great. How about you, Trina?
So I'm president as well and I know that last year there was basically a one person running the whole thing, and we have a really good officer team this year, and
Sweet.
so we'd like to keep it going next year, and I'm trying to find ways to make sure that happens.
That's awesome. It's good communication usually does that. I'll tell you that. And looks like Hassan, we got you in the back. The club you're representing today?
Yes, I'm representing the Muslim Student Association.
Okay, and so I know that you answered this last time, but do you have a new small win your club has recently?
Yeah, actually, I've been getting ideas from other clubs, like for example, soccer game, or like hiking or something. Like they have nearby hiking at the East Town Mall from the African Student Association. So I'm looking to how we can implement those ideas in our clubs too.
So kind of like event, outages. I don't want to say outages, but yeah, like going different events.
Exactly.
Ideas, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And a much cheaper way,
Awesome. Yeah, and saving money. So let's take a look at the next one here, the next section that we have, which was marketing and recruitment. So focusing on your brand, how you identify your club to the college and to any of those external partners and third party, community members, right? And then just growing your club space. So getting new members is really kind of what we're looking at, right? Is one good idea, but sometimes it's not just it's kind of like a depending situation. Sometimes you can get a lot of members just by having a good event, like, a good involvement there, right? Or it can be something a little bit more strategically planned out, like a whole approach, like, how your logo is set up, how you present yourself, when you walk out, even as a group of officers, or how you run your meetings, right? So, the first question we're going to kind of ask, right, is how do you, if you had to describe your club in 30 seconds, right, and to someone who's never heard of it, how would you go about doing that? And that would leave them feeling interested and maybe a little intrigued, like, hey, I want to check more about what this club's all about. So if you haven't heard about that, the elevator pitch, what's a good elevator pitch? Thomas, do you maybe want to take a shot at this and see, how would you explain your club?
I'd probably just say that the Gender and Sexuality Alliance Club is the only like queer club on campus right now?
That's a good sticking point, because yeah, you're the one to go to for that club, that type of thing, right? But what would you say that the mission of the club is about?
To provide like a space for people to feel like they can be themselves.
Awesome. So yeah, it can be as simple as that, right? And hey, that's a good little mission statement. All right, well, Hassan, how about you?
Yeah, I would say our club is more about, putting people together regardless of their background and religion and that, and regardless of their ethnicity.
Mhm.
Our club is very diverse and very, very, very like oriented on like different kind of cultures that you would feel very connected to other students in Madison College.
What's your, and how about, let's throw in a little dip in there with a little bit of that mission. What's your mission, your purpose?
Yes,
Love it.
our purpose is to be together and be united, even as a minority.
Awesome. Brent, what about you? What do you think it's all? Kind of explain in 30 seconds a little elevator pitch for BPA.
I have identified mission and vision statements for our club, or I don't know whether our club or the umbrella organization that is Business Professionals of America proper. But the elevator pitch that I would say is that Business Professionals of America exists to promote students into leadership positions in the world and help them develop business-related skills and in the workplace.
That's very intriguing. When I hear that, right, I like that a lot, right? That's really good. And Trina, how about you?
So I would say that RISE is the advisory board and the voices of the students who are part of RISE, and we come up with the ideas and we tell RISE what we want to do and how we can implement that within the organization at school.
Awesome, I love that. You, either one of you want to add or chime in anything? I know I'm kind of taking up all the space, and I just want to throw it out and make sure you guys have anything that you want to say.
Oh, I would say that I really did like your pitch. I feel like it was very like captivating. And you feel like, oh, I want to hear what they're about.
Good.
Brittany?
I always enjoy like the identity-based clubs. I feel like they kind of are unique in the sense that they speak for themselves a little bit, and especially when you walk onto campus, finding, a space in the queer community or the Muslim Association. And I like that, again, it's just their name automatically gets you, a place to feel like identity within a group.
Awesome, that's really well said, honestly. Yeah, so, all right, so, next one here, recruitment strategy. So, if we were to take a second back and say, let's not take away the poster, let's take away the tabling, what's one way that if you really thought outside the box, you could maybe try to gain some new members, right? Like, so for example, I'm going to say an example here is you were kind of, I feel like something's kind of turning when I was thinking about you, Hassan, when you say, oh, we have different ideas, kind of got them from a different club, but that doesn't mean that there's any less great ideas of maybe new ways to potentially gain membership by doing something like different types of events than what you usually would have, right? So kind of thinking in that mindset, this is a little more of a perhaps harder question to answer, but maybe a good one to kind of start to crack the egg. So what do you think about?
GSA currently has like flyers you can find around campus. We also have an upcoming I think cookie decoration day. We also have some other stuff coming up that have on me at the moment.
Yeah, and those events they really do gather members and potential wannabe new members, right? I love that, right? Brendan, what about you?
Please rephrase the question.
So if we were to think about a way besides just a poster, right, or tabling,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, for
Which is, I would say, probably our main ways that clubs usually do promote themselves, especially in involvement or situation. What's a unique or different way, unexpected way that maybe you can gain new membership and reach out?
Well, I'm taking a marketing course right now, and so one of the things I understand about that is not everybody are going to be eligible for a club or interested in our club. So if we market to everybody, we market to nobody. So what I want to try to identify is those students that are business students, and I have it individually in my interactions with students in the past have identified students that might be eligible for a club or interested in it, to talk to them one-on-one. And so that I can have that presence as me or as my fellow officers interact with people in their in their classes or that may be that market that would be looking for what we have to offer.
That's really, I love, I think you've been thinking about this. I like that, right? You're really thinking about a good approach on that. It's really smart, honestly. Trina, what about you?
So we have been trying to come up with ways that aren't just meetings or, work school related.
Yeah.
So we tried to, we tried to collaborate with PTK and go on the fall leaf walk, but the rain was bad and the weather was bad that day. And that's what I've been doing with PTK a lot is we're collaborating with different clubs based on what the activity is and how those members might interact well with the activity that we're doing. And then that way those two clubs can, or I guess PTK isn't really a club, but, mesh together on that activity, and those people from those clubs might be interested in PTK and PTK members might want to join those clubs.
Yeah, you're hitting on something really well. Right?
Cross-pollination.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, think about how many of you may be not only an officer or recurring group, right, but also maybe a member of another club or org or some sort of group, right? I mean, yeah, one of the biggest ways is to be able to kind of have that co-hosting, right? And that immediately reaches what your audience is, doubles that, right? Because you can double it, right? Especially if you get the help with an org to back your alliance, right? That can even have even bigger, because I mean, think about that, right? The resources that can then be spent maybe, you're gonna have, depending on the event, resources, really can amplify and has that cross-pollination effect. So, and I would say, yeah, it did rain, right? Which is a bummer, right? But never let one bummer event stop you from doing it
So
again.
that same week, we did the vision boards that we had here the week before with STEM at Goodman, and that was super successful.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Anyone else? Anyone want to say anything?
I do think collaboration is a very good idea of just, you can spark the idea in someone else and be like, hey, I like what these guys are about and I want to participate more. Maybe even hosting events in places like the IE, because you can reach people who are already are frequent there.
Yep.
And they can see you and, decide to be a part of that.
I like hosting or the events that aren't necessarily just identifiable within the club, like cookies can reach anybody. And so it's just something fun to draw people in, to let them know we don't always have, such heavy, hard conversations about the club. We also just enjoy each other's company by doing something as simple as decorating cookies.
I really like how you put that. I really like how you put that in. So, and then we're gonna kind of, as we use Wolfpack Connect for everything that comes down to student engagement, what's one feature on Wolfpack Connect that you think has been used for your club's ability to gain new members? And what has worked best with trying to communicate to students, right? So I'm going to be able to hint you that maybe I'll say emails, right? Emails or maybe posting to your feed, right? Or posting to the journal feed, which has about some 13,000 students, but maybe it's something different that you're doing. But what's one feature that you think, and this is kind of a loaded question because this is information that's going to be helpful for me to better understand how Wolfpack Connect is working and how and what directions that we might need to go to try to make it even better, right? So Thomas, do you have something that, what feature on Wolfpack Connect that you think has been useful?
We don't really use Wolfpack Connect. We have just a Discord server for the group that we use instead for announcements and stuff.
Yeah, no, hey, that's fair. We don't tell anyone that the guy used anything. What would be, if we were to try to see, I'm just gonna play check in right now and say, what would be something that might get you to want to try to use Wolfpack Connect? What could be something if there was? I mean, if you got your own way, we respect that, but how could we maybe reach your audience?
Personally, I'm not sure. We mainly just use it to announce when meetings are, because not everyone's in Discord, but everything else is just there. But I would probably say if better community boards for clubs.
Yeah, that's something that is not at its best, and fortunately, I don't know when that's a feature that's kind of out of our hands, but definitely something that I would like to do, and something I've at least been trying to work a little bit more on with the forums inside the ELT group. But yes, I definitely know what you're talking about when when it comes to Discord versus us, right? But I appreciate your honesty in saying that, right? Hassan, how about you?
I think Wolfpack Connect is a very good resource, especially there's I recently knew about it, that it's also open for non-students. They can also like see some general information, not the room, for example, not the something, but like they can see some. The reason why this is such an important thing for non-Madison College students is because, like, for example, there's parents that they wanna look at an event for their kids, for example, or they like have a family and friends and they wanna bring them to, like a community event on Madison College. So I think I really like how Wolfpack Connect has a feature for Madison College students. Yeah, that's one of
I
the.
did just get a question about this today from a staff member who asked about it, and they can see events, and I said, yes, in general, you can see all of the events, right? Just like you can see all the groups, which is a big thing that helps us, right? Is if let's just say you have a student that, or a person who's gonna be going to school in the upcoming semester, right? So they have not yet, but they want to know what potentially they can do to get involved, right? The fact that they have, we have that open so that they don't have to literally log in yet is a big, huge thing, right? But yeah, to answer the question, I would say, yes, you're sort of right? I mean, it really depends on the groups, what they set that specific event's privacy settings to, right? So if they set it to everyone, then yes, definitely everyone is gonna be able to see, say the chili cook-off, right, that happening next week. I'm just making, a what if, but like if they set to that, everyone, then yes. But if they set it to only people who are logged on, then they immediately limit. They can still see that it's a chili cook-off, but they can't see any of the details, right? So it really depends on those privacy settings are set, which is a nice customizable thing that we do allow groups to do, so that they can really customize it to their audience, right? So maybe if it was just a Business Professionals America only type of event, they can set it to group members only being able to view and register to it, right? So which is a nice thing. But in general, yes, we like to try to show as much off as possible, and it just depends on the settings sometimes. But Frank, what about you? What's one feature that you released, if you have a user of Wolfpack Connect, that you found it to be very useful?
Well, one of the interesting things we're going to do in our kickoff meeting is have a presentation about Wolfpack Connect. Another is Business Professionals of America website, and just like making members aware and including officers aware of like the best features of it, including like scheduling meetings and allowing people that are interested in joining find out more about our club and being able to also join our club potentially. So
yeah, I did find it. I find new features pretty much every day, unfortunately, which drives me crazy because I know it so well. But one thing that yes, I've seen is that there was that ability to create meeting times. So one thing that I think would be useful for us in the future is we had drop-in hours with actual meeting times that you could select that and then meet with us, right? Which I think would be really nice, right? So that's something that I didn't think was fully built out yet, and then just realized we're talking to another employee who had questions about that. It is actually working now. So, those new things are always being updated every day, right? How about you, Trina?
I have a struggle with Wolfpack Connect. When you can see the events, but sometimes it makes it hard to find some of them. And so I just really struggle with it. I think that when you create, or like when you send out like something to your feed, it'd be helpful if it sent an email too, or if people could like set that in their settings if they wanted to get an email or not.
Yeah, so if it's sent out to, like, say,
The members.
So let's say ELT's members, right, to the ELT journal feed, right? That also sends an email out as well.
Right.
Yeah, that would actually be a
And
bad
people
feature.
could select whether or not they opted in or out of that.
Yeah, that is actually a feature that is there in the notifications. They're really taking a lot of time to really like specify each specific thing. It's really kind of crazy how precise it's gotten. But yes, the thing that you mentioned first about that double thing is that would be very interesting to to see if that is even a thing that could be done, right? So that's good information.
Because I don't ever really see stuff that's in the feed.
Yeah.
Unless you specifically go and you like scroll through.
Yeah, I know, I'm with you on that, did you have something, Sean?
Yes, I want to add to our recruitment strategy, the one that I set as a goal for us, is to try to increase active members by 50% by the end of the school year.
Oh, wow, right, so what's your, may I ask what your membership is currently at right now?
I think it's around 11 or 12
Only 11 or 12 members,
active.
active members, or so you,
We've got 66 or so total, but
interesting. Interesting. I like the goal. I like that you're trying to reach for that. And I'm rooting for you on that, definitely. Hassan, how about you?
Well, I already answered for the
Yeah.
open, I just have a feedback for Wolfpack Connect, I guess. One of the things that I've been thinking for a long time right now is how UW-Madison and like whenever you go to a Memorial Union or Goodman or whatever unions they have like a huge display of the events and what's currently happening on the campus. I know like we have like a tiny horizontal display in front of the student life and it's like some major events on campus. But one of the things I've been thinking for a long time now is that we could have a bigger TV on the student life, like like outside projector or something that could be showing all the events that are happening on the same week or on the same day for like screening just the Wolfpack Connect.
Yeah.
So
that would be a great idea, honestly. I mean, really, it would
Yeah.
truly be a great idea. As we've been seeing the events start to pick up a lot more, right? And I see all these different groups making things. And my first thought is, this is awesome, but I would love to see this even more, right? I'm always clicking on the thing to scroll it through because I like to enjoy seeing how active and how much stuff's going on, right? So it would be really nice to have something like that. That would be some good. That would be a good thing.
That'd be cool if it had QR codes too to register.
Yeah.
What's that
If
again?
it had QR codes on it to register while it's scrolling.
Oh yeah, that would. Yeah, that would be. Did my thing just? All right. Well, that's weird. Why that did that? Hopefully that is.
Someone who can't pay attention for more than 5 minutes to something.
No, I was like, that's so weird. My fear was that was going to cause an issue. I just want to write that down.
Yeah. Not necessarily a very huge TV, just a regular TV outside student life where we can see all the events happening today on campus. So people walking by, can.
It's funny because I brought up a screen too. There was something I said, we were trying to figure out like something that people would like to see at Goodman that we have here outside of student life. And I said we should have a TV with a Mentimeter.
Yeah.
And because I feel like Goodman gets left out of a lot of things.
Well, we're trying to fix that.
No,
right?
I know. And I'm trying to with PTK and with Rise too.
That's a very hard situation, but we're trying, right?
What's the best way for me to get, I haven't really done it before, setting up a QR code for a membership meeting?
For a meeting itself, well, you actually have, in any, you say this without having to go off the screen, in any one of the meetings that you have currently right now, there is going to be over on the right-hand side of that event or that meeting, right? There's going to be 3 dots, and it's probably going to have like a copy link. And if you hit on that copy link, it should open up a sub window that not only has the link, but above that has the actual QR code for the event.
Okay.
So, yep, I would say that, right? I would also say check out my trainings on events because I do actually show those things, right?
Okay.
So that's going to be very helpful. So I appreciate everyone giving their input here. Let's move on to the next here. So section about the autonomy of a successful event, member engagement and events. So first question, how do you get members to show up and attend your meetings and events? So sounds like an easy question. Food. That is usually the big one. How about you? What do you get members to show up to the events, meetings or events?
We just house when the meetings are, and people typically show up because it's just a nice community space.
Yeah, so do you have, maybe one question for you, Thomas, do you have active, like how many members do you currently have in GSA?
Quite a few. We filled the classroom. We occupy pretty much all the time.
So do you have, so of that membership, do you have all of those members showing up, like they're all active members?
No.
Okay, so how much, if you were to just give your approximate, how many would you say are active members who show up to your events or meetings on a regular basis versus how many are just the general membership of your group?
I think we have, let's see here, current members. I would say on average, we have about like 17 to like 20 people show up on average.
That's really good. Yeah. So, and that's just, you create a good community space that you just post and then they just don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. That's I'm trying to key there. I'll tell you that. That is hard. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's food, obviously, just like they answered, but also one of the things that I've realized is one of the important things is like posting well in advance, not too advanced that people forget, but also not too closer to the date that people will not have time or they have already scheduled other things. So really like posters, they all matter, but also like putting posters in a perfect timing, like let's say if there's an event happening next Wednesday, the posters should be out on this Wednesday. So it gives like a timing for people to really come. And I think we have a lot of demand and a lot of people do end up coming. It's just the timing does matter when you like let know your clubs when they should come.
Very fair point. Very fair point.
Yeah, I definitely agree with food because I know like that's the way to a student's heart, you know?
Yep.
And also like email marketing, like similar to what Tom was saying, like on timelines that are reasonable. So like a week before, a couple days before, 24 hours before, just so that it's students have the awareness that opportunity is available.
So I haven't figured it out yet, but my ideas about it is that you need to create a community outside of the club and outside of school. So it has to be more than just like something else they have to do or something else that they're signing up for. It has to be more personal than just another task that they're adding to their checklist.
Absolutely. We're inundated as students with information coming at us. We have to understand why that's important to us.
No, I hear that. Well, I mean, that kind of leads over to Thomas's point. I mean, Thomas has all of the membership within the Discord server, so it's kind of it's outside of the scope of being inside the college, but Thomas is getting good, attendance rates or retention rates, right, for that. So yeah, it sounds like there is maybe a key there, right, of something.
More friendship and community outside of the club.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be interesting to know how you exactly do that. So yeah, I guess what is one event you have had with high attendance or engagement, and what made it, in your opinion, so successful? Besides food, right? So, what has been or what is one event that you just recently had, Thomas, where you feel like it went really well, you had good numbers, whether that be membership numbers, whether that be membership and just prospective students, right? What do you feel what was all the steps that made it seem like it was a good event that had good attendance?
Typically, we bring this stuff up like a couple of weeks before in the meeting.
Yeah.
We get volunteers, people raise their hand, sign up for sit for like first half, second half, and tear down.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kind of have people roll up, say, hey, and when people come to the table, we're like, hey, this is our club, this is what we do.
Yeah.
And if they're interested, they're interested.
Yeah. How do you, I found that trying to have somebody set up something for volunteering and say, hey, we need some volunteers who is interested. And I'm not just speaking about in terms of the club, I'm just saying in general, maybe at this college, right? But does it seem like you have just good, students are actively like, yep, need a volunteer, yep, I'm that person.
Yeah, we have people actively volunteering, of course, when it lines up with their schedule. Like, people aren't gonna be just dropping class to show up.
Yeah, we no one wants that, no one definitely wants that, but that's good that you're having just active participation and stuff like volunteering. That's very good. What's your sign?
I think one of the biggest recruitment I would say that we had recently is in the beginning of the semester, the
Kickoff meeting?
no, before that, like the outside the school,
Campus Fun Day.
campus fun day. Because like a lot of people, they graduate and they, we have new students every year. So campus fun day was like a very, very crucial for us, or like I was very glad to be there representing the club because if we weren't there, not a lot of people knew about it, especially the new students. The other thing I think like really outside like food, like yes, food is distraction, like putting in small activities. For example, like even a small amount of money, let's say single dollars, putting them in a balloon and then like doing a small activity where you pop the balloon out. It's kind of makes an engagement and wants people to come back to similar events, and it does keep attraction ongoing. So yeah, other than the food.
Well, I'm gonna ask another follow-up question in a second about tabling activities. But Brett, what about you?
Our first member meeting is on Thursday, and what I would like to see there is like, I think we have a focus for making the meeting a success by making the member the primary party that's there. We're there to serve them. So it will have been successful if at least, I guess, 85 or 90% of our active membership shows up and gets value from it.
Have you had any, going back to Thomas, have you had any volunteering things that you've needed, or any setup or preparation, any event just planning itself that you had to do to get this membership meeting ready to go? And if so, what were some of those things, and what were some of the experiences? Did you feel like you got active participation? Did you feel like you had some resistance from either your officers or your members, what have you, right? How did you get ready for this upcoming event?
In our officer meeting last week on Thursday, we discussed this upcoming membership kickoff meeting. And the advisors were helpful in helping us guide us, but also allowing us to own what our roles as officers. I feel like we strategized about what we wanted to present, and identified 3 topics, and basically introducing Wolfpack Connect, introducing Business Professionals of America website, and also I'm going to give a speech introducing Business Professionals of America, and having an interactive format whereby I engage with the audience and find out what they came for, and I kind of ask that in an open-ended way.
That's all. Hey, that interactive activity, that can really be a big deal, right?
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're also you thought and you planned out specifically what you wanted this event to really be, or how you envisioned it going. Because really, that's also really big on that, right?
Yeah.
So no, that's great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing about how it ends up going, right?
Yeah.
Treat, how about you?
So we had a neat event. This summer we went to the Anderson Japanese Gardens with both Grocer and First Gen.
Yeah.
That was really successful and fun. But so far, really, our only active members are the leadership team. And we're in this like kind of planning and figuring out what we're going to do. This last year, Meredith kind of just did everything.
Yeah.
I kind of tried to help,
Yeah.
but my classes were so intense because I took, like 18 credits.
Yeah, I do remember. It was,
And we have the holiday dinner coming up, and I feel with everything that's going on in the world right now, it might be something that we had a really, really successful meeting last week about it, and I think that we need to talk about trying to collaborate with another club to get more donations, because I think that it's probably going to be different than it's looked in the past.
I probably would agree with you on that, right? So, yeah, and it is interesting, right? Because when you think about, we talked about the number of transitions, right? The leader transitions, I should say. And now, yeah, you're kind of in this different role where you're taking on more lead. And yeah, you have something as big as that event, right? Which is a big one, right? Like, how do you go about doing it? How do you go about making sure that you feel ready for it? And what you would classify it as for a success, right?
Right, so my focus is I'm going to try to make these like small little events and try to get more of these non-active members active in trying to go out and get donations.
Yeah.
And make it a like service hour thing, you need those for your transfer scholarships or transfer applications and scholarships. And so that's my focus this week, is to come up with some sort of timeline and plan for that.
Awesome, that's great. So my follow-up kind of question here was tabling. You're right. You mentioned a good interactive activity. So let's just see, like, what would you say, right? What I believe you're at the involvement there.
I've worked at classes, but we were at the campus fun day.
Yeah, that's what I mean to say. So at the campus fun day, how did you draw students in? What did you have an interactive activity? What was? I'm kind of talking about the things we were just kind of talking about. The pitch, what did you do? How did you get that?
We had a large poster board that was eye-catching, sort of saying what the club is, what we do.
Yeah.
We also had stuff like stickers, pronoun pins, and some other just rainbow pins and stuff around for people to take if they wanted.
Yeah. Well, knickknacks that kind of got like, hey, what's this, right? And I love that. What about you, Hassan?
Yeah, I think one of the greatest, well, this is our first year, so one of the things we did is actually, is that they have mentioned also the whiteboard, like the board that we have with multiple colors, different kind of pictures. All the event that we had last year, it was really attractive for people to, not only just the students, but also the president, Dr. Byrne, also came in the end. And she also asked us what kind of events you guys hosted last year, and what were they about? Also, having food, obviously, but small snacks from your culture, or from some kind of oriented culture snacks that would attract other people and make curiosity in them.
Yeah.
To ask them, hey, where's this snack from, for example. The other thing we had activities on our other club, all the other events, is that, for example, we had balloons. Within them there were single dollars, and then you had to shoot those balloons, and it's, even though it's a small amount, it just keeps the people engaged during the event.
How much money did you?
I will have to ask the president. I don't even. Yeah, it's a small amount, but yeah.
So, Edward, I know you're new to the club leadership experience with this, but did and I don't know if BPA did do any tabling for Campus Fun Day, but if you have anything to share, or you can think of something, maybe either if it was this year or a previous year, do you have anything that you can relate to this question, this follow-up question about interactive activities? Like if we do have a fall involvement fair coming up on the 20th, I believe, right? So there's going to be another opportunity to do some tabling and get some just outreach for students. But I mean, if you can't think of anything in the past, maybe what would you think about for this future if you were going to do a tabling event at involvement fair? What would that look like as an interactive activity?
I'd ideally like to have 2 officers and just be able to answer questions in a friendly way, be able to have snacks, have food available that students could take, and also handouts or flyers. One of the things I like about what Wolfpack Beyond Word does is they have a lot of informational stuff that I think is really interesting, because it allows the audience to engage in whatever way that they see fit, or So it can be drawing in of students and, but also like, I think that, I think besides high attendance, how do you measure if an event was truly a success? What I intend to implement within our meetings going forward is to, membership meetings is to implement with the QR code, also a survey functionality, pre and post survey. So see if what expectations were going in and if they were met satisfactorily.
Okay, so, I was just thinking, yeah, that is good. Definitely, looks like we are kind of dipping into the finding success one as well. Trina, how about you?
So it's kind of hard to say because usually I have to table more than one table at a time. So usually when I'm tabling for Active Minds or Rise SAB, I'm also tabling for PTK,
Yeah.
which automatically brings a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I made a Jenga game for one of my classes, and we've used it at a few tabling things where you pull out a color, and then there's cards, and you have to pick a card with a color, and then answer a question, and then the person who's tabling also has to answer a question, and it just opens up conversations.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're not comfortable with a question, you don't have to answer it. Yeah.
What would be the best way that you could see as an approach to, because I do see this sometimes.
And I did donate that to Student Life,
Oh.
so anybody can check it out.
Cool. But what would be a good approach that you could think of to trying to not be doing double duty on something, right?
Have
So-
a body double?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, in a science fiction world, yes, but what about, in a non-science fiction world, right? Like, so for now, for example, right, as we just announced this last week that the fall involvement fair is gonna be happening. If you do choose that you wanted to, that we're doing a what if scenario, I'm not making any claims that it is gonna happen, but let's say one of your clubs did want to do it, and then PTK also did want to do it, right? I mean, we're trying to maybe give enough time so that
I'm
there
learning
could
to
be.
say no.
Well, I'm saying let's say, again, this is a what if here,
No,
right?
I
So what if, just like we could even use Campus Fun Day as the example, right? How would you work to make it so that you could end up
by myself.
not by yourself? So you could do one table?
Well, and that's what I meant, at
No.
one table.
Oh, okay, yes.
I'm learning to say no.
Oh, that's what you were trying to say, I got you.
I'm learning to say no if
Okay.
I've already committed to one thing.
Yeah.
Can you show me how to do that sometime?
Yeah.
It's hard. So I'm learning to say no, and I'm learning to, check, I've already committed to this one thing, and I can't. So PTK has a lot of, they have a lot of people that can table. That doesn't always have to be my priority, even though it's my favorite. SAB also has, is getting more membership, and Active Minds, I don't know what to do about that one. That's a whole other story for a different day. So I need to learn to focus on one thing, and it's really hard for me.
I'm in that same boat. I hear you, and I appreciate you, you're saying something about that. So then lastly, productive meeting. What's some advice to make meetings feel productive and fun and not just another obligation, kind of like going back to what you mentioned about the feeling of tasks, right? So, I mean, we do not decide and tell you all how you must run your meetings, right? You have your own meeting structures for your bylaws, how your club operates, right? So if you were to have, say, a membership meeting that had business to discuss something like, hey, we want to spend X amount of our money on something, here are our options, and you had to actually make a decision in this meeting, so it would be a business type of meeting, how do you try to find it and make it seem like it's not just, oh, I have to go and do this meeting. It just seems more engaging, it seems more welcoming, it seems like a better, more comfortable environment. So I've laid out the premise, Thomas, what
We typically start with like icebreakers, so just people new time there, like you'll learn people's like name, like their major, and like just a question that's like thrown to the group. And then we move on to sort of like business first, and then all remaining time is just social hour.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. So it sounds like you have a structure in place, right?
Yeah.
That's really useful, and kind of where I'm kind of getting at with this. So, Son, how about you?
I think one of the things that we really try hard to do in our meetings with officers is that we don't really use not power necessarily, but we don't like see titles as something that you can, hey, talk about this, for example, or you cannot talk about this. We keep it like very casual, very friendly, even though we have an agenda. It's just we keep it like the same level that everybody listening to everybody discussing and giving forth and back your opinions and working on that, not necessarily, oh, you have to say, you have the power to say this and do this. We don't have the power of this, like keeping everybody together as friends and really just making that as a productive tool for us to plan for events and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, Son, you know what it's like to be in different types of meetings where an agenda is very strict, right? Versus where it may not be, right? And agendas really, they're supposed to flow to what the group needs, right? They don't have to be super strict, but they have to, what the goal, what the purpose is to allow you to have something as an anchor to stay on task, right? Because if you only have X amount of time to get a group of people in a room, right? You want to make sure that you have some anchors that you can be able to get through the things that you need to, and then heck, let the rest of that time be fun, enjoyable time, right? So, so Brent, how about you to this question?
So having an officer build the agenda pre-meeting, agenda organized and prioritized, printed and distributed by me. Intro, name, check-in, answer fun question. Sticking to agenda so that the most important tasks are attended to first, to respect everyone's time.
Awesome. So yeah, and so you're taking it in more of a, I don't mean this in that way, but more of a productive business aspect sense. Hey, I mean, as business professionals of America, that would make sense, right? But you're focusing on what your strength is and saying, we're gonna make sure that we are really getting down to the nitty gritty, right?
Right.
But also trying to inject a little bit of that fun element here and there, right? I heard it, right? So I know it's there, right? So and you've been working on the agendas. You've been talking to me about this, that you've been working on creating these agendas. So you've been really taking a lot of time to think about it, strategize it. You can talk to other people to get their input, read upon it, right? So you've been doing stuff to make this a worthwhile agenda. Yeah, what's your follow?
And in the spring, I got the chance to be in student senate and see their agendas and how they follow them in a careful way. You know?
Yeah, you and Hassan are both in that same boat, right? Yeah, you've seen what those agendas really look like and how those things can get pretty long, right? All right, and so yeah, you.
So this is something we actually just discussed at our last meeting. Generally, it's always the president who comes up with the agenda, runs the meeting, based on, especially with RISE and, the different neurodivergent types that we have in our group. We have a running agenda all week long. Anybody can add to the agenda, and then it gets approved by the president and vice president if it's too much to handle. We come up, with the most important things to go over. We start our meetings with an icebreaker. We have usually we pick somebody who's going to come up with the icebreaker at the beginning of the meeting, and they come up with it during the week. And we go through the agenda. We usually end up closing with another closing breaker. And we have it so we don't want the positions to be like, this is you're the president and that's it. And everyone should learn how each position works so that one, they're learning different types of skills. And what if I'm in a car accident and I can't come to school for a month? Because that happened to me last year.
Yeah.
And so it's not so much that the positions aren't your position, but that leadership is fluid and we all have ideas. and we should all be able to input them. We should all know how to do each other's job. And I really want to stress that because I think that a lot of, like, especially the younger students, they need to know how to advocate for themselves.
Oh, yeah, definitely, 100%, right? And I think your bylaws, I don't even know, probably best.
This is on our agenda, by the way,
What?
is that for our agenda, we are working on a new name change
Yep.
for next year and to
Cool.
update our bylaws.
Cool,
So
that's what I love to hear.
So it'll all be fresh for the next year and the incoming students.
That's perfect, that's real, that's, no, I applaud you, because that's taking priority, right? You're governing documents, you're looking at them, you're taking them seriously, and
So we
yeah.
want to end the confusion, but it just kind of seemed like it's already started this year.
No,
and they made
I was
buttons and.
more referencing though, what your officer duties and what the expectations of the officers are. I think, I may be wrong.
I couldn't even tell you.
But I think they're set up with RISE SAB that there is really no formal structure, president, et cetera, listed. I think it's more just set up that there are officers,
Yeah,
if I remember.
I was told we
correctly.
need a president and a treasurer.
Well,
Yeah.
for the forum itself,
Yeah.
yes, you need someone to help have, again, just like an agenda is an anchor, you need a president to help anchor, right? I
Yeah.
mean, doesn't mean that there isn't any leadership team behind that, but someone to help at least anchor, right? Because when we list contact information on that external pages, right? It's gonna list the president, it's gonna list an advisor, all right? So we need someone, then second, we need a treasurer because somebody,
Has
the
to
way,
sign.
sign off on the money, right? Right,
Yeah.
somebody has to sign off on that money, so that's important. Yeah, that's great.
I want to more fully answer this question for my club. In order to make them more productive and fun, I want to, like, using this, like everybody, all the officers involved in building the agenda so that they feel that they have a voice, you know?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, they're kind of creating their own position names is what
Yeah.
they're doing.
And that I also like, right? It doesn't have to fit what we're not trying to tell you what you have, obviously we have certain roles set up because the college has certain things that we have to kind of implement with it. But everything else, you're a custom position, you can make it however you want. Just make sure your bylaws update that so that it's known, right? What this position, X is, right? I know, I'll be the first one, hey, our group was talking about agendas today. I'm the first one to say that after creating agendas for Student Senate for 2+ years, it definitely gets to you after a while. And so I don't do a great job of always creating an agenda, but I know that I have to do one because I know with my ADHD that I tend to go spastic, right? I just go right out and I don't come back. So I need something to hold me down, right? And here's some of the things like the icebreakers that we're talking about actually have been known to be effective strategies in getting participation amongst the group. Not just in person, but also online. I mean, there was a lot of information done about that when COVID happened. So that's actually very smart how you play, and you have 2 great advisors also helping make sure and to back that, right? So this has been great. Let's take let's see how far we can get with this last bit here. This section is going to cover the behind the scenes work of running club operations and finance, right? So besides selling things, what are other creative ways to fundraise and raise money for your club? What fundraising activity has been the most successful and why, right? So clubs earn money really one main way, which is fundraising. They can also earn money through the incentive program, which is through ELT, giving you that money by doing basic club management and having that recorded in Wolfpack Connect. But basically how the club operates is fundraising, right? So looking at this question, what are some other creative ways to fundraise and raise money, right? And if you have one that's been really successful, what would that be and ensure that, right? So Thomas, I'll start with you.
Because we're a primary social club and we don't really have issues with money, because we're typically net zero in everything we do.
Joel, you don't, so
We
it's
just
not really an
We
issue.
have historically had to raise money ourselves.
Okay. Has your club ever had to raise money that you've been aware of?
Not since I've been a member of it.
Okay, awesome. So then that's a always good not to have to worry about money, right? No one wants to have to worry about money. So how about you?
Yeah, one of the things that we were thinking about, and it takes a lot of work to do that, is to collaborate with a local vendor.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe like 5% of their, sales goes to our fundraising, or, 10% or whatever. But one of the things that we were also thinking about that, it just takes a lot of work and a lot of negotiation into that. But yeah, one of the ideas is to collaborate with local vendors for club fundraising, other than like, the incentives and, like selling, like a winter food market on campus, stuff like that. We were thinking about that.
Do you have an event or an activity or that has been very successful for fundraising?
We haven't done fundraising yet.
I'm just throwing it out. So it's just, I know this club is just reactivating new. So BPA, you may have an answer to this.
Well, I do need to check in with what was done last year in terms of fundraising. I think they left the budget net positive, or the treasury net positive. So I feel like I would like to have that same goal, or I do have that same goal for this year. One idea I have is like selling business books of some sort, or some type of app or of some sort, like that we could custom build or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that would help people be more productive or effective in whatever way or they might like. So I don't know how feasible that is, but.
I mean, I don't know about the app, right? But I do know that the Diesel Club and I think Interior Design Alliance, they both sell Bucky books, which raise money for their clubs, right? And as you're an academic club, and there are also academic clubs, I mean, something there, right?
What club is that?
Interior Design Alliance does it, and I believe the Diesel Club does it as well. Maybe the Automotive Club. Those clubs are kind of all under the umbrella of Skills USA, but they also sell T-shirts, right, like apparel as well. I know that they do that. So I mean, heck, that could be a nice. It's also kind of a nice little thing to have, right? You end up maybe if you had a good experience or positive experience with something like that club, right? You might pull out of a box and years from that, time to like, hey, look, and I bring you a little joy. I don't know, but it's an idea, right? We never stayed in the shape that we wish we could, but so how about you though?
I don't know what they have done. I don't think that they've done anything. I know we made buttons last week that they're gonna try to sell at the winter market. I know that, not for really fundraising, but for like the, holiday dinner, we got a lot of donations from different, vendors, like, Breakbush is where I live. I got a whole bunch of chicken donated for that. My partner works for them. I got Max to donate a whole bunch of mac and cheese. We got stuff from Hy-Vee, like that sort of thing to help that. But as far as running the club, I'm not sure what they've done.
Yeah, that's perfectly understandable. I mean, there's history, right?
Something you mentioned similar to the making like sweatshirts and whatnot. I was also thinking about the STEM Center and how they have those 3D printers. Maybe like a club can do like a collaboration with the STEM Center to make like whatever earrings or whatever logo of the club, and make it a small portion of it as a fundraising or something.
I mean, yeah, it keeps it in house, right? And
yeah.
I mean, you know who you're dealing with, right? Not some outside vendor. It's a little bit more personal, and you could carry something that's really cool to what your club is about, or maybe just a logo. Who knows, right? And then I'm gonna have us finish up actually on this last question here about the event planning process, and then we'll put a pin in it. But what's one thing you wish you knew about planning an event before you planned your first one? So, and some of this is going to be, I've already planned an event, right? I have more experience in that, whereas others may not have fully planned an event. Who knows, right? What's your best approach on planning reoccurring club meetings, right? So you have a meeting that happens every single, say, week or every single other week, right? Like, what's your best approach at making that happen? And how about for planning bigger club events, right? What's working, what isn't? And I mean, I know that, again, some of these questions you may not have answers for, right? But again, just some intro things, or Thomas, it's up to you for the last question of the day,
For,
for this event planning process.
it's typically what happens is people throw out ideas, we talk about them. And then if we can get days to do them, we get a day and time, tentative day and time, and then we get people to sign up for it.
All right, awesome. But have you ever had reoccurring club meetings, right? I think GSA
Yeah,
has
GSA meets every Monday.
every Monday. So, and, you know, what's your best approach on planning those, right? Is it the same thing?
The same time, same day, same room.
The same kind of like process that you just mentioned earlier about kind of get everybody's input and see what.
Yeah,
things are
For
talked about?
just going into each semester, we send out surveys to find out like what day works for people's schedules, what time, and then of that day, what time.
Okay. So good communication on that aspect, right? Like that, I love that. That's actually really great. Hassan, how about you?
Yeah, I think for the planning process, like obviously you don't come up with an idea. Some ideas come in like a casual conversation, and that's it. Like, oh, we should bring up this idea to the club, or we should make this event happen to the club. And I think that's one of the underestimated. Like, we don't, not necessarily taking notes actively, but like when talking to other friends, you know, maybe family, maybe other colleagues on the school, those ideas comes from like informal conversations, and then that's the step 0, and then the step 1 is meeting with your club and talking.
Very wise, yeah.
Always wear a body cam.
But yeah, a lot of times it can just be having a pass by conversation that ends up being something a lot bigger, right? So I love that, right? Brent, how about you, buddy?
Well, I've set up a few board meetings since we got started. I guess we just started this month. Like we know who to go to get a room reserved. I'm trying to be like the lightning rod between the advisors and the club group, so that you know, there's not unnecessarily duplication of language, so that things are clear. So I feel like if there's considerations to be had, like we started out by surveying everybody in the club, and we found our best time, and so we're just kind of organizing all our meetings based on that time, the same day, and a board meeting and a membership meeting every month. So
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. I like the consistency. Sure, what about you?
When people volunteer to help with an event during a meeting, make sure they accept a calendar invite so you don't end up all by yourself.
I can fully agree with that frustration right there, because you don't know if they're going to really be showing up or not.
Well, right, because when you talk about it and they're like, oh yeah, I'm available, it doesn't mean they put it in their calendar.
Nope, not at all.
And it's,
Right?
you
Yeah, I
didn't send
agree
them a
with that.
calendar invite and they didn't say, and it's specific to like, this is the event, but it's specific to you're showing up here
Mhm.
to do this. Yeah, you kind of end up a little screwed sometimes as the planner.
No, I agree. Do you have anything else though that you want to add into that last bit?
Oh no, because I'm natural. I am like I don't know, I have some sort of weird event planning gift. It's the only thing I was born with.
I like that. I like that. That's good. All right, so yeah, we're gonna stop here, right? We're gonna pick it back up in a couple weeks. If you guys can all join, that would be great. We'll pick it up in a Tuesday meeting. I don't think where we end up being is too far off, right? Yeah, we're actually gonna probably be right on time if we get through this entire slide show and whatnot. But you will get, after this meeting has ended, which was 30 minutes ago, you should get a officer reflection, a feedback form get sent out, right? Make sure you're filling that out, right? Because we're counting these roundtables as workshops. And so you need to attend 2 workshops, fill out the officer reflection form to get the credit for the incentive program, right? So if you've been to one, fill out that one, put the date down, also for this one, and for just asking questions, just things to reflect upon. But yeah, I just want to make sure that you're reminded about that. And if we don't see any one of you after this, just as It's up there, yeah, 20th, I
So
believe.
that was a question I had for Nina. So these are all like consecutive, like, so they're different, they're not all the same.
So when you say all this.
So like I should come to the next one to learn more different stuff.
Well,
or-
yeah, you can
Okay.
learn different, yes, these are all different
Because-
things to learn, right?
Okay,
So pick up what you can, pick, and what you can't,
okay.
that's perfectly fine as well. We're recording it, so it's still there so that you can
Well,
watch
it's
it.
right before PTT, so it's not that big of a deal.
So, but, yeah, it's kind of, we're trying to keep the content fresh, right?
Okay, yeah, so that was the question, is are they just the same thing for different people that can come at different times, or were they different?
So, yeah, and so, yeah, we're looking for 2 people to fill that out, so if you're,
Okay.
I'm gonna be very relaxed and say that if you rent and you get your other officer to fill out the same information, I'm not gonna not count that, right? But if you fill it out twice for the club, the same club, it will get denied, right? Because we're
But I
trying,
can fill it out for both clubs.
you fill out for both clubs, that's correct, yep, that's 100% correct. But you said you.
I think I haven't signed up on the Wolfpack Connect, so just add me on the survey email.
Oh, I don't have you on
I don't know if I signed up I just added to my calendar without signing up for this.
there? Oh,
Workshop.
I'll check you in,
Yeah,
Yeah,
check
because
me.
I did that, I ended up registering, but I accepted an invite and thought I was signed up.
You know where you can find all that information? You're gonna throw this really wicked question at you, and I'll find it on the club handbook. It's all there. But yes, I will, get you signed in here for this event. Oh, and yeah, tomorrow I do my
Does
first,
anybody
my
wanna,
first training.
I seek to listen and support DK? Because my goal this year is to have small talks to help people end stigma about anything and everything.
So Sean, think about that idea, okay?
What?
The
About
TV
any
outside
stigma
the
what?
student life.
Anything.
Yeah, it's not gonna be.
End stigma,
easy,
like
but-
I think
Yeah.
that we should be
I'm
able
gonna try.
to talk about things, like there should not be, like, I should be able to tell you that I'm disabled and not feel ashamed of that.
Right. I have struggled with stigma in my life quite a bit. I'm a brain cancer survivor, so yeah,
I'm glad that you survived.
yeah, me too. I'm interested in your clubs.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
well,
I'm in Rise, so.
you're in Rise. The student advisory board meets, not this Friday, but the following Friday.
What time?
We meet at 12:30. And, Active Minds is, a mental health club. And that meets the same Fridays.